Well, welcome back. This time you join us on our trip to Oakmoor Touring Park, which is an independent site. But to crack the whip early and beat the traffic around Bristol and the M5 interchange, we'll set it off early, stopping at our favourite Taunton Deane services en route. It would then leave us sub 45 minutes to get to the actual site. And as I climb in, you can see that it's rather busy. I think other people have the same idea about getting early, even at before 8:30 log in the morning. Good job of space on the end here, though.
My weird boob, one saggy, one held up. The weird boob look.
I'm recording. Shall I leave that bit in?
No, please don't leave that bit in. Okay.
Okay then.
Right, here we are. We're having a week away in Bovey, Tracey, Devon. You've probably noticed out of here that we're not at Bovey, Tracey.
No, and that caravan, we're not going to Redruth in Cornwall either.
No. We are actually at Taunton Deane services on the M5 because when we booked this, we had forgotten or not noticed that not only is it a bank holiday weekend, it's also half term. And although we can't get onto the site till 1, as with most sites, we know how bad the M4 and M5 and the interchange around Bristol can be. So we left early.
It's a nightmare, isn't it?
Yeah, really is early. So we thought if we could get to Taunton Deane services and rock up here, have some breakfast and hang about here for an hour and a half, we would have missed the worst of the traffic on the worst travel day.
Absolutely.
And we did all right. We didn't have any hold-ups to get here to Taunton Deane. It got busier the further we got down. But when we got into these services, it was rammed with caravans. Even lorries couldn't get in. Yeah, it was crazy busy when we got here. I went to get us some breakfast and a coffee. The queue was mad, so I was in there probably half an hour. And when I came back, it had eased off a bit. Obviously, the breakfast crew had come through. And it is it's still busy, but it's not like it was. I mean, stacked and stacked. All the caravan bays full, apart from where lorries had obviously had to park behind. Caravans had left. There were some empty spaces. Caravans down this side. Caravans lined up 2 or 3 deep down that side. So this is a really busy services. The other one, Sedgemoor, comes before this. It's a smaller services, and we have stayed there before. But it's not really great for caravan parking.
It's not. No. And the Bridgewater one's not even on the motorway. You have to get off. So
yeah.
This one's a better one.
Yeah. I wouldn't advise Bridgewater. You have to get off the motorway and go somewhere else. And it's the same with Exeter. You have to get off the motorway and go somewhere else. So for us, Taunton Deane is the best stop.
But we're, I'll just show you, we are not. We're in travel mode. So, even Jess is, you've been for a walk. She's done her business, but we're in rocking up. In fact, it's another caravan squeezed in next to us, look now.
Oh, yeah.
Just appeared.
Yeah.
And, it's just full all the way along. Oh, yes, one other thing. Disconnected that because we're going to be here for a bit, so I don't want the Elco to drain the battery of the car. Well, it would probably anyway for the duration we're here. But before I do that, put the steady down at the back as well.
Be aware there is a very small sign that says it's a 2-hour limit, which we didn't see, and we did get caught out and we were fined later on and we had to pay.
Now you are on the A38, the Devon Expressway as they like to call it, and you need to be careful when you get to this and have your wits around you, because as you'll see, this car coming up on my right now is going to pull in front of me. The wife's going to say that there's a parked car broken down on the junction. He's going to pull back out. I need to pull this rig into the middle lane. Not easily done quickly, but I'm glad I got a rear camera. At the same time as the motorway itself is going to go from 3 lanes down to 2 lanes. And as you'll see, this is a sharp left turn. Normal A road in effect. Yes, a lot going on, but it's a good job I did stop and have some caffeine before I got going, eh? Now then, I am quite lucky. There is a lay-by just before the junction where we get off, so on we go to our site now. Now then, as you will see, there are normal roads until you get to the area which is really close to their site, and you will see why you have an arrival time of 1 o'clock, because we are about to administer normal Devon roads. Now how's that for a friendly welcome? And I think I've mentioned a couple of things as well. It's hard to not notice the awards they have here, and apart from the usuals in the fridge and freezer, all the other produce is local. We do like that. And so the only thing I had to worry about was my satellite dish. Now I did mention when booking that I needed a southeasterly direction, hence the arrow. So any of those pictures on the top or down the right hand side would have been fantastic. Oh, one other thing to note, you can just about see it, is that blackboard easel just down the bottom there. Tonight apparently the local farmer's coming round, will be doing food from his van. Tracey. Oops, there's a bit of a queue behind us. Anyway, we get given the very first pitch as we come round this corner, and I'm not going to complain about that. Look at it, dead flat. Fantastic. Now, as you saw on the left hand side, there is a tent there, so I'm probably going to have to move the caravan with the motor movers, as I won't be able to use the car to push it back, as I don't want to encroach on any of their bit of land. And that's it, in she goes, and I'll use the motor movers here to position it for the alco locks, whack the car in on the grass, and job done. Now, as another Brucey bonus, because we're right on the end, all the amenities for the site, water, chemical loos, etc., are all down this end. Here we go. That's where the bins are. They don't recycle. Well, they do recycle, but it's done at the yard, so you can just put all your stuff unseparated in these. There's the water. There's the chemical toilet. So you get everything, and we are just there, so perfect. Nothing's very far at all. And I suppose I can get to be a little bit pompous, because I reckon I've got one of the best pictures, in my view. The pictures are very adequately wide enough. That's a 2.5 metre awning on it. You can quite easily fit a 3 metre one, and there you go, your parking's on the end. I'm actually stood on what would be a tent area. There were some tents here at the beginning, and it's now not a bank holiday weekend, so we do have some spaces, but I've just been around there. They're taking loads of bookings for the weekend and next week, so cool. Also, there's the toilet block, and the little field is that we took a dog into is just over there, which is great for dog walks. So in terms of amenities, the bollard that I'm plugged into is just there, so straight across, plug in. You obviously unroll it, you don't want to get yourself on fire by having them all coiled up. Water's quite easy, you know where that goes, and waste can go down that drainage pit for motorhomes. Cool. Laters. Now, I mentioned that field. This is where you can take your pooch for a little bit of exercise, and as there was nobody in it, because it's used as an overflow for tents really, we actually managed to do some ball chucking. I don't suppose you're allowed to do that when there's tents here, but anyway, we did. And then on the way back, confirmation that JJ Meats was coming at 6 PM tonight, and sure enough, he did. And if you're into your beef like I am, that was fantastic. Local to boot. Back to reality, size and space does matter. In fact, when I was camping, I don't remember having this much room, but you certainly do here. Now, I also did say that my pitch, I reckon, was the best one, but that's probably only because it's nearest. The amenities, the rest of them are very good as well. Oh, look. That's very cute, isn't it? All these little different animals. Even the benches are dogs, look. Very good. And obviously, dog pound whilst you're waiting. Water. And there's disabled ramp there. with, oh, what is a disabled toilet. Let's have a quick butcher's. Oh, right. Maybe change as well. That's alright, it's got its own shower too. Cool. Zoom out a bit. There are 4 of them. I also see cleaning products in the corner there. Some anti-smellies and anti-splashing in the urinals there. If you can see, there's one of the traps on the right hand side there. On the other side of that door, there is a reminder for men. Please get yourself checked. It's only a blood test. Needless to say, it wasn't me who did this, Fiona did this. But yes, they are very clean. And credit where credit's due. I mean, well done. But what about the Wi-Fi? I hear you cry, Steve. So yes, it's quite important to most people. So turning on the Wi-Fi box, I was quite gobsmacked that it was 4 bars of full 5G. But that doesn't mean anything, as we now know, don't we? So we need to do a speed test to find out exactly what we're getting. So I connect to the Bovey wireless network that it produces. We're on Sky, which is at the bottom. And we let it do its thing, and we are getting 46. That's not the speed that I was hoping for. So let's try tethering to my phone and see what speed we get off of that. Well, that's on Vodafone, by the way. Oh wow, that was reporting, by the way, half of 5G. Yeah, I think we'll be using that then, no brainer. Now, the last time we were in this neck of the woods, we didn't have a chance to go to Totnes. So we take the 25-minute ride, a bit longer than that actually, trying to find somewhere to park. But you could easily spend a day here. And in fact, probably a bit longer as well, because they have this thing called a round robin, which allows you to go down the estuary from Totnes all the way down to Dartmouth and via Torquay or Torbay. But it involves a bus and a train and obviously a boat. Not that one. We didn't have that long, but the shopping experience here is really good because they're all independent little shops, not your usuals. Now, back at the site that night, we chose to take the other option of walking the 20 minutes down to the local village and pick up some food there. I don't know why they call it the ant trail. No ants were ever seen by us in this. And the directions were spot on. The clay cutter's arms might as well have said dogs welcome as well. Yeah, no, she doesn't need to ask, does she? I think she knows or places an order. But overall, the food was good. The wait wasn't too long. I'd recommend that. And then sadly on to our last day. Now, no trip to this neck of the woods would be complete without going to Lou and Polperro. Now, the trouble is we haven't got enough time to do both. So we decide that Polperro is the one we're going to go for. And either will take you over the Tamar Bridge. So this is a toll, but luckily it's not a toll on the way there. You pay for it on the way back. Although judging by that queue and the fact it's only one lane, might take a while.
Our next port of call after the bridge is the very pretty town of Lou, which has been famous lately for the series Beyond Paradise. A real day you can spend here. We've been there before. But we're moving on through Lou and about 5 miles away to the small seaside town of Polperro. And as you can see from this map, there is a big tourist car park in Polperro, and then you have to walk down into the town itself unless you take one of their tuk-tuks.
Make a sharp right turn into the car park.
Now, it's worth knowing that this car park is the only one in Polperro and it's privately owned. It's a cash-only car park, which is a real pain. You cannot use a card there at all. If you've got notes, you will have to go to a cash machine and have them converted into coins, which took ages. Therefore, we noticed people coming in and driving straight out. There was only one coach. And a couple of business owners told us when we visited that this was negatively impacting their businesses.
There's not even any apps, is there, that you can use to pay for the car park?
Absolutely nothing. Nothing convenient to the consumer.
Now, I'm going to say regardless, but all that being said, this is a particularly fantastic neck of the woods to be in.
Polperro is a place where really, if you have something to eat or a coffee, 3 hours would be enough. If you want a sit-down meal, a little bit longer. There are quirky pubs and eateries, independent shops, and it's just very, very pretty. People are really friendly, the shopkeepers are friendly, and we just had a really good time.
And very dog-friendly to boot.
And then it was time for us to leave. We took 3 hours in the car park because that was all you could take before you had to go for 24 hours. So we headed out and headed home.
Now, the next stop is through Lou and then back and onto that bridge. No, not this one. Now, I'm, as a driver, interested as to how much they think they're going to charge me. And lo and behold, if there was a van parked in front of this, you wouldn't be able to see it. I've never seen a sign that's sideways on in a car park hole. Have you?
So as you can see, it's very easy to miss the actual cost. So as we pull up here, we finally, as we come to the end, see that the cost is actually £3. I did have the change on this occasion. You can pay by change or you can pay by card. She puts one of those thingies out the window and you scan. And that's it. We headed back to our site for our last night at Oakmoor, which we thoroughly enjoyed. I really recommend this site. And then when we headed out the next day to come home, wouldn't you know it, we get off the site and we have a Devon moment.
Yeah, thin roads.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Yeah, and you've seen those in previous films. Anyway, we enjoyed it. We'll be back. So please like, subscribe.
And hit that little bell. See you soon.